What's up, guys? Marcus here with BlackOvis. We are in-house today with Dan Staton.
Staton.
Elkshape.
Yeah.
Anyways, he is rocking Crispis this year. He's rocking a lot of them, and he's going to tell us which ones he's using and why he likes them and when he uses them.
All right, so Crispis, I told Kendall this. I was like, man, I ain't tried your boots ever. It's too trendy. You know, it can't be as good. It actually is as good as they advertise. Like, no break-in periods. That's a real thing. I'm a straight shooter, y'all know, so you don't need to break these things in, although some folks will tell you, you know, get 3 miles 3 times and they'll be good to go. I like straight out of the box, and I've had great success. We'll start with the Thors. I think this is probably one of your guys' most popular boots, but this is going to be something that's a little stiffer, a little more technical if you're hunting country with a lot of scree or just possibly a lot of rock and just sliding vertical stuff. This is going to be, and the name in itself, like think nasty country, you need some Thors. So obviously everything starts from the ground up when we're talking boots, but I've had a lot of guys show up at Elkshape camp just absolutely in love with this. I have limited reps, but the times that I have utilized this, I would say the more technical the features of the terrain, you're going to want to rock the Thors.
And what season are you using these in?
This would be any season for me, honestly. Like, my life revolves around archery. So August, September, October, November, but really August, September is when I do the bulk of my hunting. So just to kind of give you a timeline, I'm not a guy who hunts December, January. Although if you were to go to like Arizona over the counter or something, this could be a possible, you know, it's very rocky, nasty country.
This is a pretty popular boot for the spring and summertime, and again into fall. But usually some people will switch to maybe a full leather when it gets a lot colder out, when there's several feet of snow and they're kind of, I mean, it does have a full Gore-Tex bootie, but you do have advantages to a full leather boot.
Yeah, I think it's extremely popular. It's probably the one I've seen the most on people that show up to Elkshape camps, by far.
Awesome.
The Briksdal, to me, is probably one of my tops as far as just, I would wear this in September for sure. It's not like a real hot boot. It's very breathable, the way that it's set up. And having hot feet is a recipe for disaster when you're elk hunting. Like, if you are getting blisters or hot spots, you're having to stop, take your boots off, change your socks. It's getting in the way of already a finite scenario called September elk hunting. So for me, I think this is probably a top choice for September. I do think it is a pretty technical boot as well as far as the stiffness. It's not something that's just weak. It's super strong and rugged. So the more rugged terrain, again,
steep elevation climbs, you're going to notice a lot less foot fatigue in these boots.
Yeah, these are probably going to be everybody's go-to.
Oh yeah.
The Attivas, these are the mids, GTX. You know, yes, they have Gore-Tex. Yes, you could hunt in them. However, I wouldn't pack a bull out with these, but I certainly would in stockable country for mule deer or elk, which I do a lot of spot and stock elk hunting. These are awesome. They slip off. I just like them. That's what I'm wearing right now. You can't see on camera, but they're my everyday wears as well. Like, and you could even run in them, no joke. But antelope, like August for sure. Probably a little bit of September, especially depending on the terrain features. Not going to see this in October, November.
Awesome. Moving on, Colorado. Tell us about it.
Colorado, probably out of all the boots here, is the one that I will probably wear the most. And I'm a guy who changes boots daily. I've never been a guy who shows up to the trailhead with one pair of boots. Like, I feel like I have too much vested in a hunt to have just a pair. What if those break down? I got to drive back to town, try to find something that's open and try to get a pair of boots. It literally happened to my dad last year. His Kenny's failed him. We were in Wyoming.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
He had to go 50 miles, buy a brand new random pair from some store and hope that they worked. That's not me. I like to change boots out literally every day. Just even if you had just 2 pairs, just switch back and forth to keep things fresh. Just because I've never appreciated foot issues. You know, we're covering elk hunting is actually elk hiking. You're actually elk hiking most of the time. And so you need to have really comfortable feet, and I like changing them out. So the Colorados, they're very breathable. There's not a lot of leather to create sweat or heat. The synthetic, it's mid, it's got the support. It's not terribly stiff, but it's not weak at all. And I feel like I can cover the most ground. My cameraman, Jake, ran these last year. He loved them. And out of all the boots I have, this is the one I'm probably going to wear the most.
Awesome. All right, moving on. We're at the guide.
Yeah, so this was the first pair of boots I ever tried on from Crispi. These were the boots that probably sold me the most. I had been running Kinatrek guides forever when they came out with those desert guides, and before that it was their extremes. But these, I like a higher boot. I have smaller ankles, and I've had prior injuries, rolled ankles, broken ankles in wrestling, and so these old injuries have scar tissue, and so I just think chink in my armor is my ankles. So this gives me a ton of structural integrity on the height, which is huge for me. They are a warmer boot. I probably wouldn't wear them early September. It could create too much heat. But as far as these feel like pillows. Out of all these boots, this is the most comfortable boot ever, and it's the first one I've ever tried on that sold me on Crispi, and I had 0 break-in time with them. So you'll see these on probably mid-September on the rest of the season.
Awesome. Sweet. Well, thank you for giving us a rundown on what you use throughout the year and why. Crispi, honestly, is an awesome brand. They find really good niches in the market, and they make a boot to fit it, which is pretty sweet. Thank you for coming on, telling us what you use and why you use it. That's it.